What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla the Planet Eater news and updates. So I apologize if I'm a little tired in this video or if I'm a little worn out. It's because I am. I spent the whole last night up at homecoming. So first of all, I'm tired. Second of all, my throat's a little sore because when you're at homecoming and they're blaring their EDM music at the loudest volume you've ever heard in your entire life, you kind of have to yell for people to hear you. So my voice is all worn out because I was out hanging out all night. Getting into the news though, chapter times in the description below. Starting off, we got this fan art which comes to us from Aki. It is his Ghidorah design. You can check it out down below, the original link, but here it is. It is Ghidorah design. This is a probable design for a Ghidorah, I would say. It doesn't look like the Ghidorahs that has come before it, which leads me to believe that this is something more or less what we'll get, because nothing in the anime is quite like how we're used to it. I would assume that this would be kind of what would happen if Ghidorah were to combine forms. Of course, we still don't know if Ghidorah will be one entity or three separate beings with hive mind or with independent thought. I guess we'll have to find out. However, we do know from the news we covered in the last video that at one point in the movie he will be depicted with wings at the very least, so you never know, do ya? Either way, this is a very interesting Ghidorah design. I think it is very plausible. I will not be surprised if we get something similar to it in the movie. Also, I wanted to add on to that by saying Ghidorah is not going to be an energy being in Godzilla the Planet Eater. We know this because he is a tangible creature as seen by the Godzilla the Planet Eater poster. Godzilla is holding on to him, proving that he is tangible. You can touch him. He's not some sort of energy being like Galactus, where he's just a big space dust creature from Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I know a lot of people were worried about that, but I forgot to mention this in the last video because I didn't really pay attention to it. You can see Godzilla holding on to him, so he is a tangible creature. It looks like his skin looks the way it does because he is kind of like, the way I will describe it is a camoed skin on Black Ops, or one of those games, one of the Call of Duties. You pack a punch your gun, you get it out, it has this camo skin on it that looks like it'd be intangible, but you can hang on to it nonetheless, such as the End of the Void camo, which was featured on Revelations, the Black Ops 3 maps for zombies. That's like the best way I can describe how I view this Ghidorah's skin. It looks like that in my opinion. Alright, we also have a character bio for Ghidorah. It doesn't make too much sense. I'll break it down for you in my best translation once we're done giving the direct Japanese to English translation. This comes to us from the Godzilla official anime website. It states, "At the time of ancient times, the monster star of Exif Perseus BD plus 48 degrees 740, a high-dimensional monster who destroyed the fourth planet Execucius of the star system. Since then, swollen thousands of stars with supergravity and destroyed. The variant, consisting of 3 heads, is worshipped by Exifs, king of gods." So that sounds like an illiterate person wrote it, but that's just because of the direct translation. Essentially what it's saying is, Ghidorah destroyed the Exif's homeworld. We already knew that, but he did it. He destroyed the Exif's homeworld. It was the 4th planet in the star system. Ghidorah is a higher dimensional being, so we're not sure what that means. I would assume that means he has interdimensional capabilities, which is why we see him porting into Earth via the void up in the sky, rather than just flying down from the clouds. This would also help to explain kind of the cosmic powers that he may have, where he can potentially stretch his necks out hundreds upon thousands of feet long, and then at the same time have a normal-sized body with proportional necks. So maybe he has all sorts of powers that we've never seen Ghidorah have before. I guess we'll just have to find out. Also, it sounds like he can eat stars, because it says since then he's swollen thousands of stars or whatever. Basically, I think he uses this new ability called super gravity to swallow and destroy stars, which gives us the alternative title for Godzilla the Planet Eater called Godzilla the Eater of Stars. This is probably where he gets his power from, so if he can eat stars, Earth stands no chance against him. It also says the variant consisting of 3 heads. It still doesn't say if those heads are going to be connected or if they're going to be separate beings with independent thought or not. I would assume they're going to be independent beings with a hive mind, and at some point they will form together to create a more traditional looking Ghidorah with wings. The interesting thing here, I know a lot of people thought the higher dimensional part was the most interesting, but I think the interesting part here is the fact that Ghidorah is worshipped by the Exifs and is given the title King of Gold. Of course, King of Gold just refers to the fact that he's a big golden monster. He also was called King of the Void in the last news update. But the interesting thing here to me is that he's worshipped by the Exifs, which gives us probable cause to assume that the Exifs will be bad guys in this movie, sort of how the Saludo were in Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. Although the Saludo weren't that much of bad guys, they were more of just not liking being human kind of guys. They were like, nah, being a human is dumb. Become a nanometal person, and that's really cool. That was all their deal was. They weren't like, we're gonna kill humans. They were like, this is better. So at the end there, when they betray Haruo and Yuko, it's more of self-preservation rather than an evil act. I don't view the Saludo, I don't view Galagu as evil. I feel like if the Exifs are going to worship Ghidorah and be like, hey, we're going to bring him to Earth, so deal with it, they're evil at that point. If they worship him and they bring him to Earth, they're evil. So I really don't want that to happen, or at the very least, I don't want Mephies to be evil. All right, we have some official promotional photos for Godzilla The Planet Eater. We covered most of them in the last news update. However, we'll go over them one more time now because they're in HD here. All right, starting now, we got a picture of Adam screaming. I'm not sure what he's screaming about, but he's freaked out about something. Don't have anything to say about it. We got some Saludo who look like they're very angry. It looks like they're up on the Arturum. I believe that's what the spaceship that, you know, they're all living on is called, up in space, orbiting Earth currently. Yeah, you can expect some clashing opinions up on that ship. I guess we'll say that. You can expect some clashing opinions up on the ship, because they just watched their two commanders on Earth die. They just watched the two Saludo commanders on Earth die, essentially because Haruo killed them. So I'm sure they'll be very upset about that. Mechagodzilla City also got destroyed, meaning the nanometal that they worship is gone. So yes, they do have a reason to be upset. Our next picture is that HD shot of Ghidorah descending from the void. It's a pretty cool picture. It looks like, yeah, that's an interdimensional void. So there's the higher dimensional being thing going on. Covered it in the last one though, so I don't have too much to add on to it. Our next shot is of Ghidorah's head in full HD. It looks very cool. He's got that cosmic background behind him. I think we see that in motion in the video we'll play here in a minute. Next shot is of Godzilla Earth charging his atomic breath to blast at what I would assume is Ghidorah in the sky. It could be Mothra too, as we'll talk about in a minute. This shot disappoints me quite a bit because Godzilla is looking metallic again. He's looking like Godzilla Earth again. I really hoped he would stay in Scarlet Godzilla Earth form for this new movie, but it looks like he's just going to regenerate into that same bland look. I really liked Scarlet Godzilla Earth's design, but I guess he was a bit too overpowered in the last movie where you couldn't even get close to him without dying, so the writers probably just gave him his regen back so that he could weaken himself. That way he could be an even match. I don't like it though. I think Scarlet Godzilla Earth is a much more interesting design. The next shot here is of Haruo crying. I'm not sure what he's crying about, but he's upset. I would assume because of something happening with Yuko. Our next picture is very interesting. It shows a younger Haruo. We do know that Haruo's around 24 years old in Monster Planet, so this one he's probably around 18, 16 to 18, that range based off the look. My guess is he's developing his plan to kill Godzilla here. It's some sort of flashback of him and Mephies bonding. Our next picture is of Mina and Martin touching the golden chick egg. It looks like the golden chick egg is, of course, Mothra's egg, as we learn from the backstory lore of Sitting on the Edge of Battle, which gives me reason to believe that we will see Mothra in this third installment of the anime trilogy. Our next picture here is of Mephies attacking Mayana or Mayana. I'm not sure which one he's attacking, but she certainly looks like she's not happy about it. If I had to guess, it's because he's a bad guy, and so he's like, hey, I'm gonna unleash Ghidorah and you're not gonna stop me. Then we have a shot of Mephies looking very evil here, I guess. I don't know. He just looks like Mephies, but with the new context of him might being evil, it's an evil picture. He's in a how-to background. This one's very interesting though. It's got Mephies with bloody fingers. It could be because he's offering a sacrifice to Ghidorah. Maybe he has offered himself as a sacrifice. Looks like he has some blood on his shirt too. Maybe he killed someone. Or maybe he's just tending to Yuko and that's all that's happening and he's still a good guy. We don't know. Our next shot here is of Mayana sitting in a Hautua area. Then we have Yuko covered in nanometal, almost dead, on the verge of death in a Hautua center. I would assume that this picture and the shot of Mayana go together. Mayana is probably healing Yuko with the same golden powder she gave to Haruo in the last movie. Of course, we know from the last movie, from City on the Edge, that that golden powder keeps people from turning into nanometal monsters, as it was able to protect Haruo's skin from turning into nanometal. So Yuko will probably be fine by the end of Godzilla the Planet Eater. Tokyo International Film Festival released footage of Godzilla the Planet Eater. This was part of a longer promotional video, but there's about 3 seconds of footage here. We'll break it down, not too much to talk about though. Godzilla Earth, charging his atomic breath, looking up into the sky, roaring at Ghidorah. I think there was a description saying he was roaring up at Ghidorah. We've seen this shot essentially in City on the Edge of Battle before, so it's a cool shot. Godzilla looking up into the sky, charging his atomic breath, getting ready to fight. Our next shot though is very interesting. You got one of the Ghidorah heads flying in towards the Arturum, about to destroy it. It leads me to believe maybe the X-If didn't unleash Ghidorah, because why would they do that and then let themselves get killed? Sure, they worship him, but Mephites seem to be like, hey, yeah, our planet got destroyed and that's a bad thing. So why he would be okay with unleashing Ghidorah on his spaceship and killing off the rest of his species, I'm not sure. I still think Ghidorah will destroy the ship though, as we'll talk about here in just a second. Interesting thing to note, Ghidorah does not have any backup with him. There's no other Ghidorah heads with him, so he's probably going to be 3 separate creatures with hive minds. There seems to be no body here either. It's all just one long serpent-like neck. I'm sure lots of fans are very upset about that, but at this point, as I stated in the last video, I understand why they're upset, but I don't care. I think it's an interesting choice, and I'm waiting to see how it's executed in full. And then finally, we have a shot of Haruo looking up to the sky with the wind blowing on him, and he appears to be upset and crying. My guess is he's looking up to the sky and crying because he just watched the Arturum and the rest of humanity get destroyed in the clouds. I don't think it's going to be a happy ending for Haruo, at least throughout the majority of this movie. Maybe in the very end, it'll be like, yay, we win. Now we in the How-To, we are the rulers of Earth. Godzilla's dead. Ghidorah's dead. Those guys in space are dead. Everyone's dead, but we're gonna rule the world, and Mechagodzilla City is also dead. Which, to be honest, is kind of what I want to happen at the end. My perfect version of the next movie. Movie starts out, Mechagodzilla City forms into Mechagodzilla, fights Godzilla, loses. Godzilla then goes on, fights Mothra, wins. Ghidorah shows up, Godzilla and Ghidorah fight. It's pretty evenly matched. Mothra shows up and kind of helps kill both of them. Mothra and the How-To win along with Haruo and the rest of the humans on Earth. I don't really care what happens to the guys in space. They can die. But that's my prediction for the next movie, or at least that's my hopes for the next movie. Not really my prediction. I don't think the next movie will be a big monster brawl like I'd like it to be, because it's just not how the other two were. So I'm not getting my hopes up for it. I'm just saying that'd be a cool way to have it. Tell me, what did you guys think about all this new footage? Do you guys think Mephites is going to be evil? What are your thoughts? I'd love to know. Comment below. Let me know. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man, out.